It's no secret that Microsoft's unveiling of the Xbox One has been regarded as one of the most misunderstood and confusing press releases in the past 20 years for consoles. Bad publicity and community ridicule have followed in the unsettling public wake that Microsoft has left behind in its announcement of the Xbox One back in May this year. With so much negativity surrounding the Xbox One, it's hard to see the dreamy next-gen device in any kind of positive light. Sony fans declare victory even before the next-gen consoles launch this holiday season, but is this loyalist-fueled war so easily won? Or have Sony fans underestimated Microsoft's shiny black futuristic box? Sometimes the truth can be buried amongst the chaos and confusion that the web creates during next-gen releases. In this episode of the X Report, we hope to clear up any uncertainty there may be regarding the Xbox One, its policies, and the future that Microsoft has planned for it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this hopefully enlightening episode about all that is Xbox One. In order to begin, we'll need to start from the very foundation that makes up the Xbox One and work our way towards the technology that will push the Xbox into the future and hopefully into your living room come Christmas season. Like a surgeon performing a lobotomy, we start our journey at the very center of the Xbox One. At its heart lies the same two AMD Jaguar processors as the PS4. Sleek, sexy, and quite powerful for their rather runty size. To ensure solid performance, 8GB of high-bandwidth DDR3 RAM has been chosen to feed the hungry Jaguar processors and demanding software they run. For those worried about overheating, fear not. The tiny 28nm chips combined with a large 180mm fan and heatsink are sure to keep the Xbox One cool and quiet this time around. So, no nasty red nightmarish rings to worry about here. Looking further, it becomes immediately apparent that Microsoft provided plenty of extra spacing between its components to ensure a healthy breathing area for the Xbox One, and frankly, we're quite pleased to see this welcome design approach. Outside of the box sits the large black burrito-shaped Kinect 2.0 sensor, and that was a pretty bad Taco Bell joke. Nevertheless, the Kinect truly is a gorgeous piece of kit and offers up some of the gaming industry's most accurate and responsive motion technology to date. Microsoft made it abundantly clear that this little beauty really is the true differentiating factor in giving the Xbox One its standout identity. It's no surprise why Microsoft chose to marry its functionality so heavily into the equation here. Finally, a controller truly fit for an FPS player. The redesigned Xbox One controller is curvy, edgy, and makes grown men salivate like toddlers. With the latest Wi-Fi Direct technology, IR sensing capability thanks to Kinect, and the newly formulated ergonomic impulse triggers and joysticks, this new Xbox controller stands as a true testament to just how dedicated Microsoft is to providing a precise and enjoyable gaming control experience. Ever since Sony released its technical specs about the PS4, the internet has been set ablaze with comparisons between the two next-gen consoles. Tech companies have since performed theoretical tests to demonstrate what the difference between the two consoles would be, based on paper specs. Meanwhile, the internet community has provided its input on the situation, concluding that the PS4 sits a lofty 50% higher than the Xbox One in raw computing power. With all this feedback on the subject, surely this means that games will always play better on the PS4, right? Well, I can safely assure you that nothing could be further from the truth. To demonstrate this, I'm going to provide you with an insight into how the wonderful world of console gaming works. As a developer making multi-platform games, the key importance here is to always provide a smooth gaming experience across all platforms. But how is that achieved? In order to do this, a developer will always start with the least powerful hardware first and optimize their game to run smoothly on that platform, then work their way over and port the game to more powerful platforms later. So in short, developers will almost always make sure their games are optimized to run great on all systems, and thus making the choice for which platform for you to buy that much easier. Still not satisfied? Perhaps you may be best served to wait until both consoles release and multi-platform games are tested side by side to understand what we're talking about here. When it boils down to it, the only games that will ever really take full advantage of a platform and its hardware are exclusive titles. In these cases, a test comparison cannot be made on other platforms, so the point becomes moot. Finally, keep in mind here that 85 to 90% of all games are cross-platform that release on consoles. In the end, we can start to see how silly it is to compare hardware between different consoles and platforms, when at the end of the day, almost all versions of the game will play very similarly and even look very similar on each platform. Without a doubt, the most confusing aspect of Xbox One lies in the mysterious policies that surrounded the purchasing and redistribution of games on the console. In order to clearly understand this, we'll need to first fast forward in time to a future where physical discs are a thing of the past and digital files are the norm. In this world, the Xbox One was conceived. A game system that would allow you to purchase a video game and share it with your closest friends and family. A console that would stay up to date, on the minute, by the minute, with an internet connection allowing you to chat online with friends and relatives, stream music, watch your favorite entertainment programs, and participate in online persistent worlds to take advantage of cloud technology. Now, there's no denying that this all sounds very nice. The one problem with this scenario is that it's a really confusing picture to paint for the average console gamer. In order to truly understand this and demystify what this means for console gamers, we're going to break these policies down one by one here. Let's start off by breaking down DRM and what it means for gamers. In current-gen consoles like the PS3 and Xbox 360, DRM is already playing a factor in how purchases are made. If you go to the PlayStation Store or the Microsoft Store and purchase a game, you've just purchased a DRM, which is a license to get the copy of that game and use it for yourself. The problem with this is not everyone would like to buy a digital copy. Some players choose to have physical discs because they don't have a strong internet connection to download the game. Some players also have a limited amount of cash and utilize the ability to trade their games into secondhand stores to earn extra money towards future games they would like to buy. Since Microsoft knows the future of gaming is headed towards an all-digital market, Microsoft has simply prepared the Xbox One to deliver content the best way it can through that medium. The great news for gamers here is that Microsoft has added the extra functionality of having discs be used as they are today in the Xbox 360. This means it won't be isolating customers that don't have a very good internet connection. Next up, let's talk about cloud technology. What is cloud technology and what does it mean for you as a gamer? Cloud technology simply means a server. Somewhere in the world, a server you communicate with. It has a bunch of data stored inside of it, ready to deliver that to you when you ask for it. But that's not all it can do. Imagine this for a second. You have a large open world that you're playing inside of. Now, normally, everything that you see in that world is being rendered on your personal computer, but in the world where a cloud exists, some of the elements inside of that open world could be rendered or run on the server that you're playing on, and thus save your hardware from having to render those files. Now, the only downside or drawback to this is that it needs a strong internet connection to work, but if available, this can accelerate your hardware's capability by providing better graphics, faster loading times, considering that your console is having to work less to achieve more. cloud technology is fantastic, and we are super excited to hear that Microsoft has dedicated 300,000 servers for use in the future of Xbox One and the games that will inevitably take advantage of that cloud technology. Aside from being a powerhouse, what else makes the Xbox One a truly standout device amongst the competition? Smart Glass, an app that lets you sync your Xbox and enjoy extended functionality in your games and media, is the first thing that comes to mind for us. No other platform currently has an official app dedicated to this functionality, and we find its uses to be limitless and immersive. With all the push for using tablets and smartphones in next-gen games like Battlefield 4, for example, it's nice to see that Microsoft and Xbox One are prepared ahead of time for this. And let's not forget where we'd be without the soul of the console, the Kinect 2.0 sensor. We found that many people on the internet don't pick up on how amazing this little device is, chalking its usefulness up next to the Kinect 1.0 sensor. But that's hardly fair now, is it? After all, this new version does several things the last model didn't. Superior voice recognition in loud environments is a truly amazing technology to behold and demonstrates how great the experience will be on the Xbox One. Better nighttime viewing means no more need to keep those distracting lights on. There's also improved precision and clarity thanks to its upgraded hardware and cameras. Here's one we bet you didn't know about. The Kinect 2.0 will become an infrared blaster for your living room, able to turn on and control other devices like your TV and audio-video receiver, just to name a few. Microsoft's vision is to have one simple command, Xbox on, to turn your Xbox and all the other devices in your living room on at the same time. When adding all of this technology together, we can truly see some next-generation ideas coming to life and flourishing in the Xbox One environment. Let's give you a few examples here. One technology that's very commonly asked for is head tracking. Head tracking simply means by turning your head either left or right, the actual camera in the game will move based on the direction your head is going. Imagine this kind of usefulness in racing games or first-person shooters where one less controller button or stick is needed for this functionality. One of the biggest pet peeves with people that play serious games on next-generation consoles is the lack of functionality in games like first-person shooters and RPGs and fighting games. Well, imagine this. What's already being talked about and worked on is the ability to lean. Now, leaning would mean that you could actually get behind cover and lean out in order to see what's going on. Simply leaning your body left or right would allow your character to lean out of cover to take a look at the surrounding environment. Now, this is a great function for serious gamers who are looking to have one less button to push when they're playing games. The last really big benefit that we see with the Kinect 2.0 sensor being shipped with the console itself is that every single user will now have a Kinect 2.0 sensor. This is the biggest problem with developers even utilizing the technology. If there's not an installation base for it, they won't worry about using it. But if there's a 100% install base for the Kinect 2.0, you can be guaranteed that developers will take advantage of the technology and figure out immersive ways to use it for gamers out there. Games like Project Spark are already making splashes in the community when it comes to creativity. In Project Spark, anything you can imagine you can create in the game, and they're making even more ways for you to utilize the immersiveness of the Kinect 2.0 sensor. For example, animation tracking and facial recognition are some of the biggest benefits that we've seen so far in any type of creativity-based game to date. Imagine holding a sword in the Kinect 2.0, actually recording your animation and then making the character that you designate have the same animation for its attacks. With facial recognition, you can literally lip-sync the words or read a script and have the character's face make the same movements while the dialogue is being played. The truth is, the possibilities are limitless for the Kinect 2.0 sensor, and there's a lot to be excited about here. It may be a little tough to understand how some of this can play into games that you enjoy, but we think with time, you'll come to appreciate why the Kinect 2.0 sensor was shipped with your Xbox One. Well, it's been a thrilling adventure and we're almost at its end. When we look back at the changes Microsoft has made with the Xbox One, we can see how some of these new ideas being brought to life can seem overwhelming and unnecessary to more simplistic consumers. Some may have trouble with change and even find it off-putting, but to us, we see this as a large investment into the future of console gaming. We're excited to see just what Microsoft and its partners accomplish with these new tools. and hopefully this holiday season you'll be right there with us enjoying these new experiences. Thank you for watching the X Report. We'll catch you next time.